Collection of travel stories that I've written over time. So, but it took me about maybe 6 to 9 months to put them together from a long list of 40 stories and then to the short list of 25. So 15 stories didn't make it. Of course, they'll be part of a subsequent book. But again, it was 9 months of taking it through a general editor, a proofreader, a copy editor, and then a final editor. Roughly 9 months. But of course, the stories had been written years and years before.
Putting it together took 6 to 9 months, even though these stories had already existed in other forms before this time. So at this point now, would you call yourself a writer or a traveler? You are both. So what do you, is it just writing a book makes you a writer, makes you an author? Would you think that's it? Or there has to be, you have to belong to certain literary circles, pay homage to certain people? I don't know. I don't know how it works in your industry.
Well, if I get your question right, I think I'm a writer from, I'm a writer from within. If you're a writer, you're a writer. It's either you are born to be a writer or you learn the art of writing. And you don't need to pay homage to anybody anywhere. Just get to work writing, tell your story, and put your story out there.
Okay, so I'm going to throw it open to the audience now. I'm sure you have a question. You have asked him all the questions. Today, here? Not today. Okay, you met him before. Oh, wow. Okay, no, so ask one question for the purpose of those of us who have not read this book. Yes. You have one. Something new, something different. Okay, let me ask her first, yes.
So just imagine I always have a question. It's easier like that. Okay, hello. I love your title, it's really cool. Now that you travel to 17 states in Nigeria, if there is one where it's okay, if you were to settle in one place, where and why?
Nobody has ever asked me that. That's interesting. So, well, my career as a travel writer began in Jos. I don't know how many people have been to Jos or lived in Jos. Jos is one of the prettiest cities in this country. I know it's been through crises every now and then, but if I had my way, if I were to relocate somewhere and live, it would be in Jos. Because I began to learn Hausa from there actually. I still hear a bit of Hausa, and I look forward to going back there to stay. So it's a place, it's my number one. Number two will be Uyo.
I concur. Uyo, beautiful place.
My question is each story has very unique and beautiful titles. The title of the book's Nice to Be in Your Backpacking Stories Across Nigeria. Beautiful title. I actually want to know how he goes about picking titles for each of the stories.
Thank you for that question. Interesting question as well. I don't know. The titles just come to me at different points. For some, I already know the title that I'm going to give a story once it's written. Sometimes it is the people that I'm talking to who give me an idea of what the article or what the title will be. Sometimes I give a story a particular title and then it evolves over time into something else. So sometimes I've had to change titles 7, 8, 9, 10 times until I get to the final title, final published title. So there's just no one way for me to get a title, but the title just comes organically or through deep thinking, introspection, and then I just find myself coming up with these fine titles that you guys see.
Okay, you're writing as a journalist and you're also writing as a tourist. So how do you draw a line between the two roles you're playing?
Correction, I don't travel as a tourist. I've never traveled as a tourist. I travel strictly on assignments. So when I travel, I see myself as a guinea pig. Nigerians really haven't been all over the place. So I see myself as me representing the Nigerians out there at home who need to be told what is out there, and I like to encourage people to travel in these places. So I go with all my senses at alert. But when I'm not on assignment, when I'm at a place like this, I'm not thinking as a writer. I'm just here to have fun like everybody else. When I go to the beach with my friends, I'm not on duty. I don't write. Or whenever I'm traveling and I know that I have to write, I see myself strictly as just somebody out there to taste what is there, come back home, do the story. I know that the people that read it will take something from it and then maybe be inspired to also go on a journey.
Please, a round of applause for Pelu Awofeso. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Do you have any parting words that you would like to give our audience here? Oh, you have a question. All right. So one more question before we wrap up this author interaction.
I've not read your book though, but as an author, how easy has it been to break into the Nigerian market? As not so many people are readers in this country, so how have you been able to break into the Nigerian market?
I don't know where she is. So somebody has to keep me to time. 5 minutes.
Many people read actually, you know. We've been here a couple of hours and I can see how many books have been sold over there. People read a lot. You know, I think the way I want to answer your question is how have I been able to break through as a travel writer or as an author of travel books in a country that doesn't seem to appreciate travel or tourism like that. It's not been easy, you know, but I think that when you see yourself as somebody who has been appointed, maybe self-appointed or appointed somehow to do something, you just have to get ahead and do it, and then let the universe decide. So it's been tough, it's been interesting, it's been rewarding as well. This is actually my 5th book. I mean, I wrote 4 travel books before this one, so this is the most recent one, and it was published just last October, about 2 months ago. So maybe parting words. So my parting words would be that we all should see Nigeria as not that place that you see on the news all the time. This country is beautiful. It's as beautiful as any country in the world. We just need to, you know, look at our country in a different way. And I hope that, I mean, if you are able to get my book, this one or other books, my whole intention is for it to be like an inspiration for you to see this other side of the country and then be moved it up. Again, people come to this country, you may not just know, you may not see them. Besides being a writer and an author, I'm also a tour guide. I'm a city guide. Many foreigners come into this country and I show them around. So people come, they appreciate Nigeria. I think we also need to begin to look at our country in a different pair of eyes and not let the degradation of society and the terrible politics and the poverty to affect the way we see the country. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause for Pelu Awofeso. Thank you for joining us this evening.